Hello class, welcome to week 2 of your at-home assignment for Restaurant Wars. This video will be covering foodways and how they connect to one's culture and how that information will be benefit for you in developing your restaurant idea or even developing a cuisine for your restaurant. So I have a few questions for you to think about throughout the whole video. So I want you to think about your culture and what traditional foods do you eat? What is a staple food, item, or dish that is made for specific or special occasions? For example, for my personal, from my background, every Christmas, so every holiday season, our family makes tamales for dinner. No matter what, every year, it always happens. It's a tradition. So now think where do these foods come from? And I mean not just the grocery store, but historically, where do they come from? Keep these questions in mind. We'll be getting back to them at the end of the video. Let's begin. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. For this video, please take notes on page 2 of your interactive notebook. The quiz at the end of the video, or notebook check at the end of the week, will show me that you watched the video before the in-class activity we'll be doing tomorrow, Monday. In today's video, I'll be talking about foodways in connection with your own culture. We'll be diving into how our individual culture can be seen and expressed in the food we eat. After discussing the background information on what a foodway is and reviewing a document on modern American cuisine, you'll begin to think about your group restaurant's foodway. Essentially, what type of cuisine do you want to focus on for your restaurant, and how does each of your group members / community culture be represented in the food? So for this video, we'll be focusing on the historical aspect of where our individual food culture comes from. For example, does our food take influences from Asia, the continent of Africa, Eastern, or from South America? So the foods that you're seeing on the screen right now, these are various foods from around the world. This one is from Spain. They're called croquetas de jamón. So they're just little croquettes with some pieces of ham right there, as you can see. Right here's some Ethiopian food. Right here is cassoulet from France. Just a stew, a bean-based stew with some usually duck and sausage. Some Asian food. After learning about where our food comes from, you'll begin to think about your own personal foodways and be ready to share with your group mates tomorrow in class with your restaurant idea or cuisine pitch. So where does your food come from? Quickly think of what your culture foods are and if they have any other culture influences. For instance, al pastor origins come from Lebanese style of cooking of a shawarma. So just quickly think about that. Okay, so here's the definition of a foodway. So and copy this please on page 2 of your interactive notebook. So all of the traditional activities, attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors associated with the food in your daily life. Foodways include customs of food production, preservation, preparation, presentation, gathering, marketing, both buying and selling, uses of food products other than eating, and food folklore. Okay, so let's move on. So here's an excerpt from the New England Kitchen and the Origins of Modern American Eating Habits. So there's the portion of the text right there on the right hand side of the screen, right here. So high protein and high fat energy means high fat diets mean that more work could be done and higher wages could be paid. It was their greater intake of protein and fat that made American workers more productive than their German counterparts. So I want you to address this question in your notebook on page 2. How does this quote attribute to current perception of American eating habits? So how do people from around the world think Americans eat? But use this quote in your response, please. And this will help you develop how American diets had changed over time beginning in the 1800s during the Industrial Revolution. With the Industrial Revolution, due to more occupations in factories, American diets needed to change, as Levinstein touches on the quote I inserted. Americans needed a high-fat, high-carbohydrate diet that provided enough energy for them to get through their work day. Now, what are your foodways? So address these questions on page 2. If you're running out of space on page 2 of your interactive notebook, feel free to go on to page 3. Using the information you gather from your community surveys, flip to that, bring up your document for your survey data. Please begin to brainstorm restaurant cuisines that will be able to be successful within your community. You will have to formally establish your claim of the foodway for your restaurant. With this historical background knowledge, you'll be able to effectively communicate the best direction for your restaurant cuisine or theme. This is what you'll be doing tomorrow in class, pitching your restaurant cuisine or idea to your classmates while keeping in mind these 3 questions. So here's the question at the top of the screen. How can your own individual foodway help promote your restaurant in your community? So pause the video and take a few minutes to reflect on the question and write your response on page 3 of your notebook, of your interactive notebook. So final thoughts. Remember to take the quiz focusing on this video and the resources that are on our Google site website. They're also right here on the side of the page. So you're going to be doing the NPR Colonial Roots of Pimento Cheese, NPR Saving the Story of Grits and Dish Born of Poverty now on fine dining menus, along with the video right here, using Appalachian cuisine to help revive coal country. There will be a couple of questions on the quiz derived from this additional video. In conclusion, please write your response on page 3 or even 4, depending on how much space you have left, responding to the questions that we addressed at the beginning of the video, which are, again, think about your culture and what traditional foods do you eat? What is a staple food item / dish that is made for a specific or special occasion? Now think where your food comes from, and not just the grocery store, but historically, where does it come from? Along with that, please draft your restaurant idea or pitch and how will it connect to foodways and how your restaurant will benefit the community. Like I said, you'll be pitching your ideas with your group mates tomorrow, so be prepared to share. All right, guys. I'll leave you with this quote from one of my favorite people that I grew up watching, Mr. Anthony Bourdain. So food is everything we are. It is an extension of nationalist feeling, ethnic feeling, your personal history, your provenance, your region, your tribe, your grandma. This is inseparable from those from the get-go. All right, guys. See you tomorrow in class.